minor improvements, and then your pathway to success is guaranteed and you just make piles and piles of money. So in this video, I'm going to show you a product that I found about 6 years ago, and I did exactly that. And I'm happy to say that it has in fact led me down a pathway filled with money. So let me show you this item here. This is a pretty much generic pistol grip flashlight. I'm not calling out this brand name. I have nothing against them. But this flashlight is sold by at least a dozen sellers on Amazon, and it sells for about $30. The build quality of it is not bad. It's pretty solid plastic. The body here is aluminum for some reason. I don't know why they went to that trouble, because the flashlight doesn't create any real heat, so you don't need this to dissipate heat or anything. But this is an aluminum body, but the rest of it is fairly high quality plastic. It is waterproof quite well. You can see the orange waterproofing ring around the front, and everything in back is waterproofed also. But that's where the problems start. Everything else they tell you about it, and again, not just this particular brand, but this flashlight in general, everything else the listings say about this flashlight is bogus. It's not a terribly bright light. Certainly not bright for a flashlight of this size. It's just not hugely bright. The light color is actually kind of a yellowish color. It's probably something in the neighborhood of maybe 3,500 to 4,000 K. Your battery capacity, they claim 10,000 milliamp hours, and they even include a USB port in back, so you can use it as a charging station should you need to charge your phone or something of that nature. The actual tested capacity on this flashlight, because we had to rip several of them apart, was around 2,000 milliamp hours, so about 1/5 of what they tell you. And then in back here, I guess that's a neat little feature to have that possibility of using this as a charging station with the USB port. But then the actual charging port for the flashlight itself is a 5150 terminal, and it comes with a charging brick that you plug into the wall. Well, so I bought these, and I was relatively pleased with them. Again, I like the layout, I like the form factor. It's fairly well balanced. I think it's built pretty well, but the light was nowhere near as bright as I was expecting. The duration of the light was very limited, like 30 minutes or less. And probably the most annoying problem with this is that the batteries and the ones that we tore apart were either the worst lithium-ion batteries ever made, or they were NiCads or something of that nature. They were labeled as lithium-ion, but the one thing that kind of gives it away that they might not be lithium-ion is the fact that when fully charged, you throw this in your car and give it 24 to 36 hours, and it is completely dead. All the samples that we bought, and a flashlight that will not hold a charge for more than a day and a half is really not of much use. If you want to carry it with you in your car, your truck, you can't be hooked into AC all the time and leave this thing on the charger. It just doesn't make sense for a flashlight to be that limited in standby time. So I talked to the manufacturer. I made an appointment to go actually visit the factory one April when I was in China for Canton Fair. So I went to the factory and spent the better part of the day talking to the production manager and one of the engineers. And we agreed to make some changes. One of the changes we made was replacing this kind of off-color, fairly weak LED module, which is your primary light, with a much higher quality module, longer life, but one that was about 5,500 K in terms of. In the back, we changed the 5150 charging port to a USB-C charging port, and we changed this little circuit board inside to allow fast charging. So, just batteries aside, we went from from about an 8-hour charge cycle on this to about a 2-hour, 2.5-hour charge cycle. And at the same time, we went in, we tossed the original batteries that, like I said, they were about 2,000 milliamp hours combined. So we're talking about batteries that were about 1,000 milliamp hours. That's a super, super weak lithium ion battery. And we went to Sony or Panasonic batteries that were accurate in their ratings. And we upped the capacity to about 14,000 milliamp hours. So in just making those few changes to this flashlight, we went from a flashlight that was fairly weak in its output and gave the impression of even being weaker because of the light color. So we went to a much brighter white light that really pierces the darkness. I mean, it's quite impressive now. And we made it much easier to work with and much easier to have by going to a USB-C charging port. That way you don't have to carry around an external cord and an external power brick. And it's easy to charge from anywhere you happen to be. And if you do have access to a wall outlet and you have a fast charger, it can take a significant amount of charge current and charge very, very quickly. And then lastly, we went to an actual real-life, high-quality lithium-ion battery. And now when fully charged, this thing has a shelf life of several months. I mean, we've never really gone back and picked one up and had it not have usable life left in it. So, we've significantly increased its standby time. And we've also increased its actual operating time up to about 3.5 to 4 hours, depending on its brightness level. It does have 2 different brightness levels available. So when everything was said and done, our unit cost on this flashlight went from the original version at about $6 per flashlight to our modified and upgraded version, which was about $11 a flashlight. But a flashlight that doesn't work well and a flashlight that doesn't have any power when you need it is completely worthless. So whatever the new version cost, the fact that it corrected so many problems made it well worth the money. So we now sell this flashlight, our version, our proprietary version. We sell it on Amazon sometimes, but we also sell it on off Amazon platforms, other platforms, and it sells for about $90. And people are thrilled with it. They comment on how long it lasts. They comment on how durable it is and just how powerful a flashlight it is. And that's what I was hoping to buy when I first bought one of these for myself. And then again, when I bought additional copies of it to tear apart, I found that, there were some good things here and there were a lot of bad things here. There's a lot of cost cutting that went on at the manufacturer to make it sell for a particular price point. And they kind of got away from the goal of having a flashlight at all, which was to have something that is available when you need it, available and functional in perhaps an emergency situation. And, we just took it back to what it was supposed to be. This wasn't rocket science. I'm not a product engineer. This was just something where I took an item that I was familiar with, that I found flaws in, and thought, what would it take to correct these problems? That's exactly what I've been preaching for years now, what other gurus preach when they say, if you're looking to get a good product, improve on a bad product. Don't start from scratch. Don't knock yourself out recreating the wheel. Just take something that was on the right path, but just wasn't executed properly, and go back and work with that product and execute it the way it should have been to start with. You'll also see where a lot of people say, look at your 3-star reviews. Well, in this particular instance, on Amazon, this flashlight to this day and others like it have typically about a 4.5-star rating. And you'll go and you'll find one 5-star review after another, and then you'll maybe 1 out of 10 will give you a 1-star review. And the 1-star reviews actually say the same thing about it that I just said, and that it had limited battery life, the light wasn't that bright, it was kind of yellowish, and there were very similar issues with it for the most part. Guys, a lot of those 5-star reviews are fake. They're just as fake as they can be. Amazon, bless their hearts, they like to get rid of fake reviews if they can, but there seem to be certain areas where they just have a really hard time even touching, One is flashlights. The exaggerated claims as to battery capacity on flashlights pretty much across the board has just gotten completely out of hand. The actual ridiculous claims about the light output of most of the flashlights is just completely ridiculous. It is literally, scientifically impossible due to this little thing called physics that make it impossible for these lights to put out as much light as the various sellers are claiming. And you see the same problems when you go to the battery department, or you're looking at the 18650 batteries, the lithium ion rechargeable batteries. They are literally claiming capacities well in excess of what is physically possible to put into an 18650 battery. I mean, multiples of what's physically possible in your LGs. And they top out about 3,500, maybe 3,700 milliamp hours each. And there are batteries being sold on Amazon that are claiming, 12,000 milliamp hours each. And that's just ridiculous. That's not physically possible. So, we improved this product just doing really basic things, changing the light output source LED in front, going to a higher quality and a different color, changing the battery capacity, and going to a capacity that was legitimate. And so our total capacity now on the lights that we're selling is 14,000 milliamp hours. And that's a significant improvement over this, which, like I said, when these were tested, they actually came out at around 2,000 milliamp hours total. So that was a major improvement. And then just for convenience, changing it to the USB-C charger, again, a major improvement. The flashlights, people are really happy with the quality of the construction, and they're really happy with the performance of the light. And a lot of people have recognized the fact that we seem to give our products accurate specifications so that you can make an informed decision. And that's really important also. If the people get a product and their first impression out of the box is that you have lied to them, they're probably not going to give you a great review. So, we did everything possible to make sure that our product, in this case the flashlight, lived up to expectations and lived up to the specifications that we had stated in the product listing. So that's just, that's just our story and the way we did things on this particular product. There's a lot of room for improvement on your battery-powered products now. That's why I wanted to bring this up. This product was not the only one that's misstating battery capacity. It's not the only one that's misstating things like light output. So there are a lot of things you can look at in other flashlights and in other products that are battery powered right now. You can find a lot of opportunities for making small upgrades that will result in significantly enhanced product and a significantly enhanced value that you can reward yourself with increased sales and increased profit margins. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at products. Again, you don't have to have special training. You can look around your house, look at products that you're living with right now where you've had this thought that, wow, if they'd only done this one thing different, that would be a much better product. We've all had those thoughts, but if you're selling on Amazon, you can act on those thoughts. You actually have the power to make those changes happen and to line your pockets with cash when you do make those changes happen. So keep that in mind. And that's about it. If you have not done so already, we'd really appreciate it if you'd hit like and subscribe. And we'll be back with additional videos about how to be more successful on Amazon. See you next time.